Hello, and welcome to the Venue Coach Blueprint for Owners. I'm Kyle Labar. This podcast is all about helping you fill your wedding venue with more bookings, earn more from each one, and keep your customers happy for a long time. We'll also talk about some tough times and big lessons that I've learned along the way. Let's dive in together and make your venue the best spot for weddings. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Venue Coach. Today, I wanted to talk about revenue streams and different ways to heighten and enhance your venue, your events, and how to upsell so that way you can maximize the profit of your venue. And so, I'm just going to talk about some of the things that we've done at our venue, and this is clearly not an exhaustive list, and we haven't done everything out there that's possible, but I wanted to talk about just how we consider the different possibilities and options that are out there, and how we then move to make uh, the additions and things like that. So, first we started with the venue, and that was pretty basic. We had an eye to add the bar, and now that was quite extensive. Depending on the state that you live in, it can be harder or easier to get your liquor license. So we're in Texas, and Texas has wet and dry counties and wet and dry cities, and it's a whole thing. And so we actually had to create a private club, and so because we're in a dry county and the county clerk wasn't being very helpful. So the state said it's up to the county clerk. County clerk said no. So we had to create a private club. But wherever you're at, it may be different, but there's usually fees involved. You have to get your bonds and insurance and things like that. But what we have seen since adding the bar is that on average, across all events, that's whether they have alcohol or not, on average, across all events, we make a net profit of $1,500. And so that one's pretty good, but it takes a lot of front work. You need to have a really good bartender in place, and then you have to have your stock. And so if you don't have a bar at all, you have to stock up at the beginning, so that can be an expensive upfront cost. And then finding a good bartender that you work with is another must have. So that's a big one. And then another thing that we noticed as we were going through, we just kept seeing this girl with a photo booth keep coming out to our different events and different weddings. And so we looked it up online and we found one, and then we bought it and basically made that a closed vendor item. Since that one, so the thought behind things like the photo booth, or and if you don't have one, you really need to look into it. They're very easy to get, easy to operate. Minor problems arise, very, if you have a little bit of tech skill, you're able to figure it out, and then you can troubleshoot whatever pops up. But they are very easy upsells, and only a one-time cost, and then every couple of months as you're going through the parties, you have to get more media, which means more printer paper. And so that's really all it takes, so it's not very complex. Of those, or from that, we charge $500 per event, and we make it available all day. I've seen plenty of people do 5 hours or whatever. It's up to you, but we just keep it simple and make it available all day. Most people don't use it a whole lot. Like, they get good use out of it, but it's not like they're printing hundreds and hundreds of prints. And so we typically will go through a roll of prints, every 5 to 8 parties or so. Don't quote me on those numbers, but it just depends on the party. And so that one, yeah, we add $500, and we see a conversion of that by about 90%. And so it's a really high converting item. You just have to make sure that you sell the fun of it and how it's for the guests, and they get to see all the extra pictures and things like that. So that that is an example of a type of upsell that we really like and really look for, is the one-time cost to acquire the thing, and then we can just rent it out in an ongoing basis. And so we've also done a decor closet quite extensive, but we rent that out for, geez, 200 or three, four, I can't remember the amount, but between 250 and $500, we rent that out. And it costs us about $5,000 to get. And it may vary depending on where you're at, but if you find there's a lot of decorators out there, we found a lady that was retiring and she had two big warehouses or like storage units full of this stuff, and we didn't buy all of it by any means, but we did buy a portion of what she had, and we've already like we just did that this past fall, and we have already started making money on that investment. And the good thing is we don't have to do anything after that because we already purchased all the decor. And so we're looking for places to put our money and a one-time expense that will continue to pay dividends and continue to bring it in and get high converting. Usually if you get a high converting low ticket thing, then it's a lot easier to sell. So the next thing that we're looking at is like the room enhancing lights. So like these little square lights that you can put out on the pillars or against the wall, change the colors, flashing whatever, and then you offer that as an upsell for a nominal fee. So you want to look, or at least we, and you might feel the same way, but we want to look for things that are easy to buy, easy to maintain, doesn't require a lot of technical knowledge or know-how, and that you can then upsell for, $100, $200, $50 here and there. If you're getting a lot of, think about it like this. Let's say, like for example, the decor closet. We bought it for 5,000. We only need at $250. We only need 20 of our 80 plus events that we're doing this year to do it, and we've already been converting about 70%. So, likelihood is that like I said, I think we're charging 500, so it's actually 10. So we've already booked more than 10, and we have over 80 on the calendar for this year. So it's already starting to generate revenue. You don't have to have insurance on any extra insurance. It's not like the bar. And so that one is a lot easier and less maintenance. They pick through what they want as long as they don't break it, that sort of thing. So it's really great. And if you're looking for items like that, I mean, we've seen the instead of a sign-in book or a memory book, people do the voicemail. Like you can call on an old rotary looking phone and leave a voicemail for the couple that then they get a digital file for it. So those things are kind of cool, and you're able to basically provide an extra value. So extra value, one-time cost, that's what we're looking for. And so I hope that gives you a good idea of the things that you want to see. These are investments. So you want to see a direct return on the investment, and you want to have it such that it's like, oh yeah, yeah, let's do that. That's fun. That would be so great. That would make our party that much better, right? And so if you're doing things like that, and they're pretty common, or they're just like enhancers, then you're going to see a high conversion, which then leads to more profits, and then before you know it, you are, it's like, instead of making just your flat rate, for instance, with the decor closet, if we're charging $500, then after the first 10, we are making all profit. And so that means every 10 we make an extra $5,000. And if we convert 70%, then in a year, I mean, whatever that number is, it's going to be about 50 to 60. And so let's just say 50 for the sake of simple math. Then 50 by 500 is $25,000 extra a year on something that costs us $5,000. And so, one time, right? And we may add to it, we may get other things and charge a little bit more or whatever. But for right now, I mean, one time, $5,000 to make 25,000 every year, right? It's not just the first year, it's not just once, it's every year. And so we have to think about those things. And if you find those items that are working like that, so like our photo booth, same thing. It comes out we make about $400 net or 450 net per booking just because of the printing costs and that sort of thing. And so, I mean, we make similarly because we get 90%, we're making like 70 events have it by 450. It's just crazy. An extra 36 or 33, $34,000 per year just from that. And so when you add that up, you got 30,000, you got 25,000, you get 10,000 here, 20,000 there. Like all those little things keep adding up. And then if you have 80 plus events and you're making a net 5,000 from that, then you're getting another, that's your bread and butter, right? So now you're getting almost 500,000 just from that, and then you're adding in these 10, 15, 20, $30,000 add-ons, and then all of a sudden you're making six, seven, $800,000 a year. And so I hope that was helpful for you, gave you some ideas. We don't look for the big and ongoing expenses except the bar. That was the big one. But other than that, we're looking for small things that we can get a high conversion rate on and doesn't cost us much to A, acquire, and B, replace if we need to. And so if this was useful for you, I hope you like it, share, subscribe, and if it wasn't useful, then stay tuned for the next one, and I'll have more great tips coming out in the next episode. Stay well and keep thriving.